This is Evening News for Thursday, February 13, 2014. I'm Samuel Suknandan. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. No controversy over Kisun seating arrangement. MOU signed for floating patrol base. Budget 2014 for March reading. No charges for police who allegedly raped teen. Houston girl missing. And man charged for possession of cannabis. And now for the news in detail. Leader of the Partnership for National Unity, David Granger, said that it was his decision to replace parliamentarian Vanessa Kisun on the backbench in the National Assembly, pointing out that there should be no controversy over the issue. Alexis Rodney brings us the details.
Granger said that with the recent resignation of Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Deborah Baca, the party had to make some adjustments. He noted that Kisun was not the only parliamentarian to be shifted.
Mr. Bokan had to be moved. Several persons in the front bench had to shift their seats. A new MP had to be installed, and all of these changes are administrative changes. We are confident that Ms. Kisun will continue to do her work in representing her region, so we don't see the need for any controversy.
Kisun, in a recent telephone interview with this newscast, had said that she was unaware of the change until she entered the National Assembly on Monday.
I think few people were informed. I don't know if anybody was informed. A notice was sent out asking MPs to check with the seating when they turned up. Mrs. Baca's resignation was effective only on Friday the 7th. So the decisions were made about the changes over that weekend, and an email was sent out to all MPs asking them to check on arrival. And I think there must have been about 6 changes. Some of them might not have been noticed. There might have been half a dozen changes in seating.
Kisun contended that there must be a motive behind her being replaced. However, the party leader remained firm, stating that there was no motive behind the rearrangement, pointing out that it was within the policy line of the party. However, Kisun claimed that no explanation was offered to her by the party's chief whip Amna Ali about the move. When this newscast contacted Ali on Wednesday, she maintained that the parliamentarian was not demoted and couldn't understand what the fuss was all about. The movement of Kisun to the backbench had erupted lots of controversy from persons in and out of Guyana. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
The agencies of the National Task Force on Fuel Smuggling and Contraband today signed a Memorandum of Understanding for the use of the Guyana Defence Force floating patrol base. Here are the details.
The floating patrol base is strategically located at the mouth of the Pomeroon River. The MOU was signed by Commissioner of the Guyana Police Force Leroy Brummel, Deputy Chief of Staff Colonel Kemaraj Prasad, Head of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit James Singh, Director of the Guyana Revenue Authority Karshid Sitar, and Head of the Guyana Energy Agency Mahendra Sharma. Witnessing the signing was Minister of Home Affairs Clement Rohi, who pointed out that this MOU will allow for enhanced joint operations among the agencies.
It is also important to note that these departments have all signed on to a collective standard operating procedures which will guide and inform them in respect to their individual and their collective activities as well. We are looking forward to the effective collaboration of these departments, of the representatives of these institutions on the floating base.
Meanwhile, Deputy Chief of Staff Kemaraj Prasad said that this MOU is a step closer to the operationalization of interagency coordination, which intends to provide resources and appropriate responses to matters of national security, internal peace and stability, while simultaneously contributing to national wealth.
Our sister service, the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Revenue Authority, the Customs Anti-Narcotic Unit, and the Guyana Energy Authority are all now reassured of the muscle and involvement of those empowered to police our waterways, that is, the Guyana Defence Force Coast Guard, to assist in overcoming the challenges presented by those intended to flout the laws at their convenience. The Guyana Defence Force eagerly looks forward for more initiatives such as these in which shared responsibilities can have the effect of greater compliance.
Former Chief of Staff Michael Atherley said that this MOU signing is an intervention by security policy makers to increase the capacity of the task force when responding to the evolving nature and methods of criminal element operations in our waterways.
This can certainly assist with removing the tools of crime from criminal gangs, as well as depriving wrongdoers of the potential proceeds of their crimes. In unity, there is strength. The more the task force member agencies and their operations reinforce one another, the more they share information and resources, the more they harmonize operations, establish priorities, and focus energies across the spectrum of criminal activities, the more productive will be the outcome of their operations that they conduct.
The floating patrol base will be under the command and control of the GDF and is mandated with detecting smuggling and trafficking of drugs, firearms, and contraband items. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchan.
15 Ghana Defence Force officers who were commissioned yesterday received their certificates from the President today. More in this report.
15 young men were commissioned as lieutenants at the Ghana Defence Force Base Camp in Ghana. The young officers who are part of the 46th Standard Officers Course today received their certificates from the Commander-in-Chief, President Donald Ramachar. The course commenced on March 15 last with 25 officer cadets, but during the period of training, 10 persons either withdrew or failed to achieve the minimum standards as required by the strict guidelines of the course. Of the remaining 15, 3 are from the Belize Defence Force. All of the officers commissioned endured 9 months of extremely rigorous training. The other new lieutenants commissioned are Abitri Hitmaya, Austin Flores, Deshaun Harris, Marion Hernandez, Shahid Zaibun, Alvin Holladar, Carlos Moore, Stephen Branch, Kirtland Melville, Neil Azrigado, Simon Gordon, Lawrence King, Kevin Salaru, and Noel Lanzav.
Join us after these messages for more news. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. Presidential Advisor on Governance Gail Teixeira today admitted to Ghana lobbying international organizations to have the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Bill passed. The details in this report. Gail Teixeira at the post-cabinet press briefing said that the Financial Action Task Force is expected to make its position known at the end of a plenary, which ends today. Asked whether the government had lobbied the support of the OAS and CARICOM, Teixeira said that the government did raise its concerns on the non-passage of the bill with friendly countries in the region.
Certainly, as a government that sits at these levels, we have the capacity to speak to friendly countries about our situation and be able to ask them to support us. And certainly the OAS is very concerned about what is happening in Ghana. And CARICOM and the head of the CARICOM, both the Secretary General and the President Chairman and all the governments are very concerned.
Teixeira expressed disapproval over statements made by members of the opposition sitting in the committee considering amendments to the Anti-Money Laundering Bill.
I therefore believe that it's important for the public to know the efforts that were made over the weekend and Monday for the President of this country to say to the Leader of the Opposition that the two sides have approval on the amendment bill. Do not hold up the amendment bill and play politics with this. Let's get the bill in and we will continue to look at the amendments, and we made a pledge that were that to be done, we'd have set up a bipartisan committee to go through the non-assented bills and to try to see and to talk about those issues.
The process of passing the AML bill has been largely held up in a deadlock between the opposition and the government. This is due to proposals for the Principal Act to be amended to provide for the police and customs to seize large amounts of cash on the basis of reasonable suspicion. The Partnership for National Unity (APNU) also wants the law to provide for the establishment of an anti-money laundering authority and for Parliament to play a major role in the appointment of the Financial Intelligence Unit (FIU). The Parliamentary Select Committee has been adjourned until February 19. Representatives would consider APNU's proposed amendments. The National Assembly is scheduled to meet again on February 27. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. The Alliance for Change supports APNU's version of amendments to the anti-money laundering bill, but it does have some concerns. Here's more.
Leader of the Alliance for Change AFC Kemraj Ramjitan stated that his party supports their Partnership for National Unity APNU amendment to the anti-money laundering bill. However, the party has some concerns about the bill, saying that it should be tightened up a little. This statement was made at the AFC weekly press briefing today. Responding to questions asked by members of the media, Ramjitan stated that in the principal act of the bill, the police or custom officer must have reasonable grounds to seize citizens' cash. He said that the APNU is stressing that these officers must have reasonable grounds for stopping a citizen and conducting a search, which the AFC supports very strongly.
What I saw for the very first time last night when I went is something that I have concerns about. But what APNU is doing here is stating that the police officer, and not any policeman, as is being misrepresented by the Attorney General, it has to be a superintendent and above.
Meanwhile, in relation to the amendment for the Director of the Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU, the AFC leader stated that he supports that amendment at this present time.
I support that at this stage, yes. I support, because that's a model I understand that is taken out of some other Caribbean territories, so that you just don't have a one-man FIU. You have an authority that is going to literally supervise the FIU. And that is very much something that the CFATAF, in its model legislation, says could be accommodated.
Over a number of weeks, there have been a series of meetings to pass the anti-money laundering bill and countering the financing of terrorism AML CFT amendment bill. Guyana could be facing international blacklisting if it is not brought to the International Cooperation Review Group within the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force, CFATF. Within the next 6 hours, Guyana will know if they are blacklisted by the CFATF or there will be an extension of time given to Guyana. The Caribbean Financial Action Task Force will conclude its preliminary meeting tomorrow in Paris. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Chairman of the Police Complaints Authority has recommended that no charges be filed against police officers who are responsible for allegedly raping a 17-year-old boy. Here are the details in this report.
Chairman of the Police Complaints Authority, Cecil Canard, says that he is not convinced that the police officers involved in the case where a 16-year-old boy is alleging that he was raped should be charged criminally.
Well, having looked at the evidence, I am of the view that I cannot recommend any criminal or disciplinary charge. The reason why I'm saying so is that the victim was given an opportunity at two identification parades to identify the person who alleged sexually molested him.
He cited the teen's failure to identify his alleged rapist as one of the principal reasons for him arising at his decision.
I must point out the policemen on the 26th of January, they work on a shift system, and the policeman who worked previously also was placed on and were not identified. In view of the uncertainty as to the identity of the person who sexually molested him,
Kisoon had alleged that ranks stationed at the Stabrook outpost had raped him after arresting him pending charges of prostitution. The young man subsequently staged a rooftop protest on Robb Street, fearing that the justice system had failed him.
More news still ahead. Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. The curtains came down on the 9th Conference for Leaders of Islamic Cultural Centers in Latin America and the Caribbean Tuesday evening with a well-received lecture in sod turning and tree planting ceremony at the University of Ghana Turkine campus. The details in this report. Students of the university, sections of the Muslim community and other invitees filled the Education Lecture Theatre as Director General of the Islamic Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, Dr. Abdul Aziz Uthman Al-Tawiri delivered the much-anticipated lecture on dialogues of culture and building a new world order. His many insightful statements saw participants agreeing with random applause. He said that there should be no conflict between religious organizations since although there may be a few differences with regard to practices, they are generally similar.
The clash is always from those ignorant people who instigate this idea in the societies and feed it with the lies, with the falsifications.
Dr. Al-Tawiri informed participants that the New World Order was created on the premise that superpowers had come to some agreement after staging the World War II. He claimed that the present world order has failed to address the challenging crisis that place international peace and security at risk. Culture, Youth and Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, who was also present at the event, concurred with the director on every issue raised. He pointed out that many persons have been so much affected by social injustices that they almost become immune to it. This immunity, he said, has prevented them from speaking out.
Because of that, sometimes our voices are not heard, and therefore a lot of these things are not corrected.
Officials including UG Vice Chancellor Dr. Jacob Opidi and other participants were later invited outside the ELT building to witness the sod turning and tree planting exercise by the doctor, signaling the setting of a new horizon for the university. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. As Ghana continues to witness record-breaking production in the rice industry, government may soon move to establish several facilities to help with the storage of paddies. The details in this report. Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy said this move is triggered mainly by increased production due to the fact that recent rice production continues to exceed its normal targets. The Agriculture Minister said that during February last, when the crop was being harvested, there was a build-up of traffic at various rice mills across the country, especially in the Berbice region.
We don't have built-in storage, like silos, and so we have some, but it's not for the large amount, like America. America would have these silos so that this year grains would probably not be sold till 2-3 years from now.
Another challenge faced by the industry is finding premium markets. Dr. Ramsamy told his newscast that while Ghana has several markets for its rice, there is still the need to find premium markets.
Guyana does have access to enough market, but in our case we are also very interested in the price that we get.
In addition to this, Dr. Ramsamy said that the current weather pattern is another challenge. Nevertheless, all the relevant agencies have been managing the weather. Meanwhile, the ministry is also on high alert for paddy bug infestation. The minister said based on previous experiences, the ministry moved to train farmers and extension workers to identify paddy bug infestation.
Anywhere you have rice fields, that would be a thing that you should expect. But if it arises, we should see it early, and there are effective responses so that paddy bug does not have to destroy your crops.
Rice production for the last year exceeded the 2013 target. The target for this year, which is 470,000 tons, is also going to be exceeded. Presently, close to 90,000 hectares is under cultivation. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. A man appeared in court today before Chief Magistrate Priya Sunarayan Bihari in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Terence Dugan, 54, a street dweller, was charged for damage of property. Prosecutor Michael Grant said from statements received on Tuesday, February 11, in the vicinity of the Stabrook Market area, the accused threw an obstacle at a pickup truck GKK 2537 and broke the rear view mirror valued at $25,000. The defendant, who pleaded not guilty and was unrepresented by an attorney, was asked to give an explanation by the magistrate. He then explained that on the day in questioning, he was at the Stabrook Market after changing off into his work clothes when the owner of the vehicle ordered his workers to physically abuse him. He then picked up the rock and threw it at them, which missed and hit the vehicle. Prosecutor Michael Grant had no convictions against the accused. The defendant asked the magistrate for leniency in this case. He was subsequently fined $25,000 for the damages caused. More news still ahead. Welcome back. Today, Melcher held its prize-giving ceremony for its annual Christmas Bonanza promotion, where 6 persons were rewarded for shopping at the award-winning furniture store. More in this report.
5 persons today received their prizes after shopping at Melcher's furniture store and participating in their annual prize presentation promotion. Arif Ali of West Bank Berbice took away the grand prize of 1 complete bedroom set. Meanwhile, Alexis Williams of Quarantine walked away with 1 queen chair. Third place winner Natasha David took home 1 centerpiece table.
We're gonna start with the first prize, one of our queen chairs. And this would be given to Alexis Williams from East Kanji Berbice, and Mr. Clyde Mayers would present this prize.
The other winners were Odessa Adams and Ishmael Khan, both of whom won a poof each. Melcher's managing director, Devi Mahadeo, who briefly addressed the gathering at the ceremony, related that she was appreciative of the support shown by her customers over the years.
Our customers always at interest in our heart. So I want to thank all our customers who shop with us today, and for our future customer who is coming to shop, we have a lot of thing in store for you. So maybe next time, keep shopping.
For the evening news, this is Gomati Gangadin.
Alia Walcott, 15, of Lot 38 Backstreet, Houston, East Bank, Demerara, was last seen by her mother, Patrina Persaud, on Monday, February 10 in the evening, wearing a cream skirt and matching color top with red and black flats. The teen attends the Houston Secondary School and was last seen going over to her friend's house on the same evening that is also missing. The friend's first name was only given as Cheyenne, who is 16 years of age. Mother of Aliyah Walcott said she is very worried and would like anyone who might have any information concerning her daughter's whereabouts to contact the nearest police station. She also said that on the day her daughter went missing, the friend of her daughter ran away from her home and wanted to reside at her residence, but she refused. The teen is said to have a tattoo on the left hand between the index and the thumb finger. She claims the teens do not have cell phones, so contact cannot be made with them. Join us after these messages for more of the news. Welcome back, and now for a look at sport in your headlines. West Indies announced squad for home series against Ireland. Trinidad and Tobago advanced the Nagico Super 50 final. Courts plugged significant contributions into GBA and AAG. And over 100 horses confirmed for Jumbo Jet horse race meet. Our sportscast comes to you with the kind compliments of Macwarp.
believe that everything worth building should be built just once. But that is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Mark on. Let's build Guyana together.
And now for the news in detail. The West Indies Cricket Board advised on Thursday that its selection panel has named 13-member squads for a brief series against ICC associate nation Ireland. The series comprises 2 T20 internationals and 1-day international to be staged later this month at Sabina Park in the Jamaica capital of Kingston. The 2020 squad reads Darren Sammy, captain, Samuel Battery, Dwayne Bravo, Andre Fletcher, Chris Gale, Sunil Narayan, Dinesh Ramdin, Ravi Rampal, Andre Russell, Marlon Samuels, Krishmar Santoki, Lyndell Simmons and Dwayne Smith. The 1-day international squad reads Dwayne Bravo captain, Darren Bravo, Miguel Cummins, Kirk Edwards, Christopher Gale, Jason Holder, Nikita Miller, Sunil Narayan, Kieran Powell, Dinesh Ramdin, Marlon Samuels, Darren Sammy and Lyndon Simmons. The 2 2020 internationals will be played on February 19 and 21, while the lone ODI is scheduled for February 23. Courts Furniture Store Inc. made significant contributions to the world of sport in Ghana by plugging sponsorship into the Ghana Boxing Association, GBA, and the Athletics Association of Ghana, AAG, on Thursday. More in this report.
At the store's main branch, marketing and media officer Trudy Abrahams related the reason for the nation's leading furniture store contributions to both the associations.
We are very, very pleased as a brand to be supporting sports because sport is, the life and the blood of a nation. So we're very, very happy to be making a donation today to the Guyana Boxing Association and the Guyana Athletics Association.
President of the GBA, Steve Ninval, was grateful for the sponsorship from the leading furniture store, relating its significance to the tournament.
It's especially important if we are to take sports to the next level, that we have a good relationship with corporate Guyana and with the government. Courts has always been a good corporate citizen, not only to boxing, but to many other sport disciplines. But we, at the Guyana Boxing Association at this time, want to say a heartfelt thank you to courts, and we do ask people, again, in the boxing fraternity, to try as much as possible to support the people who support you.
Vice President of the AAG, Gavin Hope, was thankful for the undisclosed donation by courts, which will be aiding the AAG in sending a team to the Junior Crafter Games on Easter weekend.
Track and field, it's a growing game in Guyana. We are seeing a lot of progress. We are seeing a lot of our youngsters achieving greatness at these events. So we are glad that they are on board. We are glad and we are thankful for the support, and we look forward to their continued support in all of our future endeavors.
Meanwhile, the Goodwill Boxing Tournament will box off from 1800 hours tomorrow evening with a grand opening ceremony featuring Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia and host Guyana.
Host Trinidad and Tobago power their way to the final of the Nagico Super 50 regional cricket competition when they demolished Jamaica by 7 wickets in the first semi-final played at the Queen's Park Oval on Wednesday. Having won the toss and dismissing the Jamaicans for 49 of 24.2 overs, Trinidad and Tobago knocked off their target in just 13.1 overs, rushing to 51 for 3. Trinidad's captain Dwayne Bravo led from the front with figures of 3 for 10 of 6 overs, finished with 4 for 19, while Ravi Rampal chipped in with 2 for 10 and off-spinner Sunil Narayan had 1 for 13. Jerome Taylor claimed all 3 wickets in Trinidad and Tobago's brief chase. Trinidad and Tobago will now meet the winner of the second semi-final match between Barbados and Guyana. The final will take place on Saturday. Hits and Jams Entertainment will be adding new meaning to the word sport when the leading entertainment group in the country hosts their Day of Sports on Sunday. Tristan Joseph reports.
They're calling it the Clash of the Entertainers when some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry meet for 100 meters of sprinting at the Police Sports Club ground Eve Leary. Hits and Jams will look to bring a different vibe to the sporting fraternity as they launched their Day of Sports earlier today for the first time, which is set to become an annual event, as Rolf Ferguson explained.
We take the lead in terms of what we promote, what we write, what we do. We think that Guyana will follow, and if we do this once every year and everybody looks forward to it, I think we will be in better shape, in the near future. So it's a venture that we want to go to. It's something that I think Guyana is going to benefit with everybody involved.
Further, Corinne Bollins explained the reason why the entertainment group decided to host the event, that will be a day the family can enjoy.
We just felt that sports in Guyana maybe has taken the back seat, and we're hoping that with this start of this new venture, that Hits and Jams and the rest of the entertainment fraternity, that we could partner with the Guyana Athletics Association to have meets. We spoke to Mr. Jefferson, I think Edison just a couple months ago also. So what role can we play? Because we would like to see athletics go back to that forefront where it used to be, where we used to leave from school to school and just go and check out athletics. You're looking at a champion boy and a champion girl. And I know that lots of people in Guyana love athletics.
National and Olympian coach Lyndon Wilson also assured the races will be well officiated.
There will be professionalism there. There will be a professional start who is myself, and there will be professional judge and timekeeper. So there's nobody's going to boast about the 10.5 or whatever they want to run unless... 10.50. Well, okay, you say 10.50. Nobody's going to boast about that because we're going to get official timekeepers who's going to be producing the time, and we have judges who will be judging.
Meanwhile, with all things in place for the event, the two featured events will be the Entertainers and Media Men 100 meters, where some of the biggest names in the entertainment and media are set to collide for 100 meters of adrenaline.
Mitchell Johnson ran through South Africa's top order on day 2 to give Australia total control of the first test at Centurion. Johnson took 4 for 51 as South Africa slipped to 140 for 6 in reply to Australia's first innings, 397 before rain brought an early end to the evening session at the Supersport Park. AB de Villiers resisted with 52 not out. Australia had themselves collapsed in the morning, going from an overnight 297 for 4 to 397 all out shortly after lunch. Steve Smith, resuming on 91, did manage to collect the 9 runs required to complete his 4th Test 100, and Sean March advanced from 122 at the start of the day to a career best of 148 before he became Vernon Philander's lone victim in the innings, and Dale Steyn cleaned up the tail to finish with 4 for 78. Remember, you can read about these and other stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times newspaper, which can be picked up from vendors across the country. Join us after these messages for your bridge reports.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. That is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Mark on. Let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back, and now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demer Harbour Bridge will be closed on Friday, February 14 at 14 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Friday, February 14 at 16 hours 55 for a period of 1.5 hours. That's your Thursday, February 13, 2014 edition of the Evening News. I'm Samuel Sugnandan. Thanks for joining us.